author of Sanya. Join us on Sunday, 21st September, 5 to 6:30 p.m. for the virtual interviews. There are exciting prizes to be won at this celebration of literature and ideas. We look forward to seeing you.
Inspiring a sustainable future.
The Rainbow Book Club and Nigeria LNG invite you to the 2025 BookFest, a conversation with the writers on the shortlist for the Nigeria Prize for Literature. The three writers are Nikki May, author of This Motherless Land, Chigozie Obioma, author of The Road to the Country, and Oyin Olobile, author of Sanya. Join us on Sunday, 21st September, 5 to 6:30 p.m. for the virtual interviews. There are exciting prizes to be won at this celebration of literature and ideas. We look forward to seeing you. The Rainbow Book Club and Nigeria LNG invite you to the 2025 BookFest, a conversation with the writers on the shortlist for the Nigeria Prize for Literature. The three writers are Nikki May, author of This Motherless Land, Chigozie Obioma, author of The Road to the Country, and Oyin Olobile, author of Sanya. Join us on Sunday, 21st September, 5 to 6:30 p.m. for the virtual interviews. There are exciting prizes to be won at this celebration of literature and ideas. We look forward to seeing you.
Welcome to NLNG, inspiring a sustainable future. Founded in 1989, NLNG is a leader in the global LNG market, transforming Nigeria's natural gas into a vital energy source for the world. From initial concepts in the 1960s to the establishment of NLNG in 1989, our journey has been marked by perseverance and innovation. NLNG export began on October the 9th, 1999, marking our entry into global energy markets. Today, NLNG boasts of a 6-train plant with a capacity of 22 million metric tons per annum MTPA of LNG and 5 metric tons per annum of NGLs. Our LPG supply initiative supports domestic growth and ensures energy accessibility. With our 7th train expansion, set to boost capacity by 35% to 30 million tons per annum, NLNG is poised to enhance its global footprint and drive future growth. NLNG, inspiring a sustainable future.
All right, welcome.
The Rainbow Book Club in Nigeria.
Afternoon. Thank you for joining us today, ladies and gentlemen. It is Sunday, the 21st of September, and it's the NPL RBC BookFest webinar. So you are all welcome to this call today. We're going to have a really good time. I assure you of that. especially because we have some prizes to be won. Yes, you heard that right. We have prizes to be won by the first 50 attendees today. So if you joined this call really early, there's a caveat though. You have to wait till the end of the event. So if you leave the event before the end of the event, then you are disqualified. Oh yes, you have to stay till the end. There's so much to come today, and we want you to be a part of it. So one more time, if you are here and excited to be part of this book fest, please drop a comment, drop an emoji in the comment section, and also let us know where you're joining us from today, the 21st of September. We would love to know where you're joining us from. So welcome to the Nigeria Prize for Literature 2025 Book Fest. It's a reception today for the writers on the shortlist for the Nigeria Prize for Literature. This event is brought to you by the Rainbow Book Club, promoters of reading and African stories across the world, and Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Limited, popularly called Nigeria LNG. And as you heard in the video, inspiring a sustainable future. The Nigeria Prize for Literature is an annual $100,000 award given to a Nigerian writer who's resident in Nigeria or abroad. Now, this award is sponsored by Nigeria LNG, and annually the prize revolves around 4 genres. Yes, 4: prose, poetry, drama, and children's literature. It's my delight to announce to you that this year, the genre in focus is prose. So all the writers we have on the call today are writers who focus on prose fiction. This prize was instituted 21 years ago, and this year we had 252 entries. Yes, you heard me right. So the writers we have on the call today emerged after a long list of 252 down to 11, and then now we have our final 3, and they are in the room with us today, okay? And we will be hearing from them very shortly. But before we go ahead, I'd just like to mention their names and their books. We have Sonia, a book authored by Oyin Olubile, who's going to be speaking with us very shortly. The second author we have is Chigozie Obioma, author of The Road to the Country. And then finally, we have Nikki May, author of This Motherless Land. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to hold on tight to your seats because we have a wonderful and incredible time lined up for you today. But before I hand over to the founder of Rainbow Book Club for some remarks from her, I'd like to remind you that we need you to tweet. We need you to share what's going on here on this call today. And the hashtags for your information are the Nigeria Prize for Literature 2025. Yes, it's all together, and you will see it dropped in the comments. That's the first hashtag. Yes, there's a lot of work to do today. We have 3 incredible hashtags, so make sure your fingers are very busy today, ladies and gentlemen. The second hashtag we have is Rainbow Book Club, hashtag Rainbow Book Club all together. And then the final hashtag that we have is hashtag NPL RBC BookFest 2025. NPL RBC BookFest 2025, all together. So make sure that you turn your attention to the comments if you missed any of these 3 hashtags, and would love to see you share across the media platforms. And then also don't forget that this call is being streamed on the YouTube pages of Rainbow Book Club. Yes, so you can go to YouTube, you can share the links with your friends, and then the Nigeria LNG is also streaming on their YouTube page. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I would like to welcome you, and I would encourage you to please make the comment section very active. It's a book fest, and we're here to celebrate literature today. Having said that, I will be handing over to the founder of the Rainbow Book Club for our opening remarks, and that is Mrs. Kalango.
Thank you so much, Pasarome, and I'm so excited to be here on behalf of the Rainbow Book Club. I warmly welcome you again. Since the inception of this reception for the shortlisted writers in 2022, the event was held in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, home of the sponsors, Nigeria LNG, home of the Rainbow Book Club, and UNESCO World Book Capital 2014. 20 years ago, the Rainbow Book Club kicked off the Get Nigeria Reading Again campaign with author Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie in Port Harcourt. And since then, we have set up and run over 200 book clubs in schools, established 6 libraries, held 7 book festivals, published 9 books. Our education intervention has directly affected over 100,000 or directly involved over 100,000 young people across Nigeria and in over 164 schools. More recently, we kicked off 2 flagship programs. One of them is Talking Books Africa, a monthly virtual conversation with authors. And those we have interviewed include Jude Idada, who is a winner, past winner of the Nigeria Prize for Literature, Chibundu Onuzo, who has been shortlisted for the Commonwealth Prize, Tope Folari, once winner of the Kane Prize for African Writing. We have also interviewed 2 former Nigerian presidents, Obasanjo and Jonathan. Our second initiative, which we call Raw Africa, is biographies of notable Africans for young readers. For instance, just last year, we published the story of Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka to mark his 90th birthday. 21 years ago, LNG instituted this important prize. And with a whooping $100,000 to be won, the award has inspired Nigerian writers at home and abroad, contributing immensely to our knowledge economy. The synergy between the Rainbow Book Club and Nigeria LNG is a welcome one, because the business of reading and writing, as we always say, would require collective effort to succeed. We therefore commend our partners, Nigeria LNG, for this initiative. Today, we look forward to hearing from the 3 shortlisted writers, Onyi Olubile, author of Sonia, Chigozie Obioma, author of The Road to the Country, and Nikki May, author of This Motherless Land. We congratulate them for making it to the short list. And please, if you have not read these books, we encourage you to buy them and read them. There's nothing more for me to say than to say, hey, enjoy yourself, relax, and let's get into the conversation. Back to you, Sarume.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Kalango, for the opening or the welcoming address. Please, in the comments, let's appreciate Mrs. Kalango, who is the founder of the Rainbow Book Club. And I was just looking, I was peeping into the comments area while you were speaking, Mrs. Kalango, and I see that we have guests joining us from Calgary in Canada, from Gombe in Nigeria, from Lagos, from Port Harcourt, from Bonny Island. We have people joining us from across the world at this book fest, the NPL RBC Book Fest today. So thank you all for joining, and please keep telling us where you're joining in from if you haven't just done that. We will be proceeding now to hear from our sponsors, and Mrs. Kalango mentioned them, NLNG, Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Limited, and we have the executive leadership represented on the call. We would like to acknowledge the executive leadership of NLNG, but I will be introducing now, for the sponsor's address, the General Manager of External Relations and Sustainable Development at NLNG, Dr. Sophia Hosfor. Dr. Sophia, welcome. It's great to have you. Over to you.
Indeed, indeed it is. Thank you, Sarah Mann. Just confirming you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, great, great, lovely. Thank you again, and good afternoon, what I like to call our distinguished book lovers from around the world. It really is an honor and a privilege to welcome you to the 2025 virtual RBC NPL Book Festival, courtesy of NLNG and the Rainbow Book Club. Books have always been the bridge between cultures and timeless companions that shape how we see the world and ourselves. Our gathering today is to celebrate literary achievement. It is there today that we will honor the extraordinary talent of the shortlist of three from really an impressive 252 entries, which were recorded for the 2025 edition of the Nigeria Prize for Literature. It is from that vast pool we narrowed to a long list of 11, if you recall, all of them exciting reads, and then shifted to the three exceptional finalists that we have here today, and we are going to socialize them. Please join me to celebrate our brilliant finalists. The Road to the Country by Chigozie Obioma, The Motherless Land by Nikki May, and Sanya by Oyin Olugbile. These works really exemplify the vibrant diversity and exceptional quality of contemporary Nigerian literature. The authors crafted compelling stories that challenge us to see our world in a new way. Each of these writers has gifted us with stories that illuminate the human experience through a uniquely Nigerian lens, reminding us that literature's power to transform, challenge, and inspire is undisputable. Their achievement in reaching this final stage speaks to their artistry. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we're all dreamers, creators, and readers who believe in the power of words to connect us, to challenge us, and to inspire us. As the author, George Louis Bourget once said, I have always imagined that paradise will be a kind of library. And looking around today, surrounded by the richness of imagination and creativity, it certainly feels like we've stepped into a little piece of paradise and together. At the heart of this celebration is the Rainbow Book Club, founder Mrs. Coco Kalango, and thank you for making this always a brilliant time together with the reading public. The RBC clearly believes in nurturing creativity and giving space for imagination, and together we help thrive the celebration of this excellence that the NLNG Literature Prize stands for. Year after year, the prize offers writers and publishers great opportunity to make history through literature. And yes, this event is to inspire everyone who aspires for distinction, aspiring for distinction in order to work towards excellence in literary creativity. Our finalists, the world needs your voice, your perspective, your truth to keep the funnel of Nigeria's literature full and intriguing. Regardless of who takes the prize, one truth remains clear, that Nigerian literature stands at a remarkable moment of global recognition and creative vitality because of you. Thank you, Chigozie, Nikki, and Oyin, for inspiring our hearts with your stories. Thank you for listening, and let's have a great time this evening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hosford, for that. Please, can we celebrate the sponsor's address eloquently given by Dr. Sophia? So please, let's celebrate. I'm seeing all of the emojis. Thank you very much for those emojis. And like she said, Africa, the world needs to hear your voices. All the authors, the three finalists, and then other authors who are joining us on the call today. Thank you very much for that moving address. Now we will be watching and introducing to you through a video our three authors on this book fest. So sit back and enjoy as we introduce to you our three authors. Thank you.
The Rainbow Book Club at Nigeria LNG welcomes Oyin Olugbile, author of Sanya, to this reception for the writers on the shortlist for the Nigeria Prize for Literature 2025. Oyin Olubile is a Nigerian-born author and storyteller whose work boldly reimagines African myths, matriarchal power, and spiritual memory. She is the author of Sanya, a mythological fiction novel that refames the legacy of the Yoruba god Shango through the eyes of a fierce and flawed female protagonist. Oyin holds a bachelor's degree in theatre arts from the University of Lagos and a master's degree in leadership and development from King's College London. She has received multiple recognitions for her work across literature, education, and leadership. Sanya was longlisted for the Canix Prize for Publishing in 2024, and she received a Future Ed Award in 2023. Beyond writing, she serves on non-profit boards, mentors emerging storytellers, and actively contributes to community and educational development in the UK and Nigeria. Oyin is married with children. The Rainbow Book Club and Nigeria LNG welcome Chigozie Obioma, author of The Road to the Country, to this reception for the shortlisted writers for the Nigeria Prize for Literature 2025. Chigozie Obioma was born in Akure, Nigeria. His two previous novels, The Fisherman and An Orchestra of Minorities, were both finalists for the Booker Prize. His novels have won the F.T. Oppenheimer Fund's Emerging Voices Award for Fiction, an NAACP Image Award, and the Los Angeles Times Award for First Fiction, and have been nominated for many others. Together, they have been translated into 30 languages. He was named one of Foreign Policy's 100 leading global thinkers. A professor of creative writing at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, he divides his time between the United States and Nigeria. The Rainbow Book Club and Nigeria LNG welcome Nikki May, author of This Motherless Land, to this conversation with the authors shortlisted for the Nigeria Prize for Literature 2025. Born in Bristol and raised in Lagos, Nikki May is an Anglo-Nigerian and loves both her homes fiercely. Her critically acclaimed debut novel, Wahala, won the Comedy Women in Print New Voice Prize, was shortlisted for the Diverse Book Award and the Fingerprint Debut of the Year Award, and longlisted for the Goldsborough Glass Bell Award. It's being turned into a major BBC TV drama series. This Motherless Land is her second novel. It was a Read with Jenna book in the USA and was shortlisted for the 2025 Edward Stanford Prize for Fiction with a Sense of Place. It is currently being adapted for TV. Nikki lives in Dorset with her husband and visits her father in Nigeria as often as she can.
All right. Wow, thank you very much for those videos. And we have on the call already. We have Oyin, we have Chigozie. Make sure you get your hands on these books. If you ever doubted why you should, I'm sure in the next few minutes, when we start listening to them speak about the books, you'll be more than convinced to grab your copy now, as we like to say. I see that we have a few more people joining us from across the world. We have Calabar represented here. We have Washington, D.C. represented. So let me remind you of our hashtags for today. We have hashtag the Nigeria Prize for Literature 2025, hashtag Rainbow Book Club, and hashtag NBL RBC BookFest 2025. And you can direct your attention to the comments if you missed any of those hashtags, but make sure you're sharing across media platforms. And remember, this is being streamed live on NLNG's YouTube page, as well as the Rainbow Book Club's page. So make sure that you're sharing, make sure you are celebrating our incredible authors across social media. Remember, our opening address by Dr. Sophia said, we can't underestimate the power, the transformative power that literature has. So make sure you're sharing across board. And I said at the beginning that the first 50 attendees on this call have a prize. that are going to be going out to them, but there's a caveat. You have to remain till the end of the call. Okay, so now we're going to a very interesting segment. Yes, there is going to be a quiz. We have a few questions for you, ardent lovers of African literature who are joining us today. There's going to be a quiz. It's my pleasure to hand over that segment to Lucas. He's going to be driving that segment, and I wish you all the best. We're going to be using menti.com. So Lucas, if you're in the building, over to you for the quiz.
All right, thank you so much, Osarume. So I will just be sharing the Menti, and then you can just help with your sonorous voice to amplify the questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will do just that, Lucas. So once again, please direct your attention to the screens. That is the website, www.menti.com, and there is the code 54995613. 54995613. That's the code for menti.com. All right. Are you ready to win prizes today? Let's go now. We have question 1 coming up. We see quite a number of players ready. That's great. Let's see who takes the big prizes today. Let's see who takes the big prizes. This is exciting. Oh, the player number is rising. I hope we have enough representation across the world in this quiz. Don't give it up to just those joining from Nigeria or Canada or Washington, D.C. Let's have a good spread. Lovely prizes to be won. 24 players ready. Let's keep joining. Menti.com. That's the website, menti.com. Menti.com. And the code is 54995613. 54995613. Ladies and gentlemen, let's keep going. Menti.com. It's MENTI.com. All right, let's keep joining. Let's keep joining quickly so that we could start sharing the questions. I am excited about this segment because there are prizes to be won. I'm not sure about you, but I am excited. I am excited. So make sure you're joining Menti so you're not missing out on the prizes to be won. Okay, so we have 42 players. We're nearly there. We want to have 50 players. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, we can do this. Let's play this game. Let's play this quiz, celebrating African literature, telling our stories to the whole world, tapping into the transformative power of literature. Okay, so let's keep joining. We have 44 players ready. Let's go ahead. It's menti.com, menti, MENTI.com. And the code is 54995613. Thank you very much. We're nearly there. 48 players now. We're nearly at the number that we need. And we have just hit 50 players. So keep joining, ladies and gentlemen. Keep joining. And we begin. Which of these are part of the long listed books for 2025? Which of these are part of the long listed books for 2025? The Truth, When We Were Fireflies, Fine Dreams. That's option 1. You can see it on your screen. Okay. Aha. Oh, we have a correct answer. Find dreams and unusual grief and leave my bones in Saskatoon. All right. Thank you very much. Next question. Okay. Oh, we have some interesting winners leading now, but it's not over yet. We have a few more questions. That's our leaderboard. We have more questions to come, so sit tight. Question 2. Question 2 coming up. Question 2 coming up. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready. Question 2 coming up. Which genre is in focus for the Nigeria Prize for Literature 2025? Let's go, let's go. Which genre is in focus for the Nigeria Prize for Literature 2025? I even know the answer. I'm not going to give out any hints. Aha, we have a lot of answers, correct answers. Okay, that's the leaderboard. 822 points in the lead. That is our leaderboard. Oh, we're seeing Lady Mo and Linda toggling for second place. And we have GOT in first place so far. Now we move on to question 3. Get ready, sit tight. Which genre has produced the most winners? That's the next question. Which genre has produced the most winners? Drama, poetry, prose, children's literature. This is a really tight one. Let's see. Let's see. Which genre has produced the most winners? Ladies and gentlemen, please vote. Let's see your answers. Okay, we have a clear winner. Congratulations. We still have a few more questions to go. Let's see the leaderboard. Ah, we have quite a toggle there. Okay, let's see how well we know our literature in Africa. Okay, Lady Mo now in first place with the lead. Question 4, sit tight. Question 4, what makes the 2025 edition particularly competitive? What makes the 2025 edition particularly competitive? Okay. Fastest fingers, but don't be too fast so you get the correct answer. Oh, 23 people got the correct answer. Congratulations. Leaderboard. Let's see who's in the lead now. This is interesting. It's getting fiercer and fiercer. Okay. We still have... Oh, now we have Joy in the lead. Let's move to question 5, guys. This is getting interesting. Question 5 now. How many entries were received for the 2025 NPL edition? How many entries were received for the 2025 NPL edition? How many entries? 23 get it correct. Congratulations. Let's see the leaderboard. Very interesting times here at the RBC NPL BookFest. Who's in the lead? We have Joy in the lead. All right, let's move to question 6. Let's see if that lead can be sustained. NLNG, inspiring a sustainable future. Can we have a sustainable lead here? The Nigeria Prize for Literature has helped to promote Nigerian writing in which of these ways? In which of these ways? It has helped to promote Nigerian writing in which of these ways? Ah, we have 25 correct answers. Congratulations. The audience seemed to know their literature and the Nigeria Prize for Literature as well. So who's leading now? Very interesting times we have. Oh, we have GOT back in the lead, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on to question 7. Hold tight. Let's go now to question 7. Very, very intense. Winners of the Nigerian Prize for Literature automatically become judges in subsequent editions. Is this true or false? Winners of the Nigeria Prize for Literature automatically become judges in subsequent editions. True or false? Let's see. 31 people get it correct. Congratulations. Heading to the leaderboard now to see who takes the lead. We have quite a fierce run here for the lead position on our leaderboard. And who do I see taking the lead now? We have Goatee. Congratulations. Now we move on to question 8. Let's see how sustainable this lead is going to be. Who was the first winner of the Nigeria Prize for Literature? Who was the first winner of the Nigeria Prize for Literature? Gabriel Okara, Ahmed Yerima, Chika Unigwe, or Gabriel Okara and Ezenwa Ohaito? 15 people get it correct. Congratulations. 15 correct answers. Congratulations. Moving to the leaderboard. It's getting fierce now. Let's see if we have people sustaining their lead on the leaderboard. Who's leading now? Menti.com. Tell us who our leader is. We still have Goatee in the lead. It's proving to be sustainable now. This is a sustainable lead. Now we move to question 9. Question 9. Sit tight and let's read. In what year was the Nigeria Prize for Literature first established? In what year was the Nigeria Prize for Literature first established? 2002, 2004, 2006, 2008. In what year was the Nigeria Prize for Literature first established? 20 people get it correct. Congratulations. Let's head to the leaderboard now. 20 correct answers. Who's taking the lead? You might be wondering, who is taking the lead? Okay. It's fierce. Second place has Lady Mo, but we still have a sustainable lead from Goatee. All right. Moving to the next question. This is very, very fierce, ladies and gentlemen, as we move into the 10th question of our quiz. Incredible prizes to be won. Which organization funds and awards the Nigeria Prize for Literature? Which organization funds and awards the Nigeria Prize for Literature? Which organization funds and awards the Nigeria Prize for Literature? You had to get this right. Congratulations, 52 correct answers. All right, 52 correct answers. Let's head to the leaderboard. Who is in the lead? Is it sustainable this time? We're getting closer to the end of the quiz, but who remains in the lead? We have Goatee still in the lead and Lady Mo coming very quickly just behind Goatee. All right, let's head to the next question. This is really intense and we have Joy in 3rd place right now. So it's really between, this is anyone's game. Anybody could take this.
Sorry, I actually love that you are keeping the suspense up, but we're going to increase the temperature. We're just going to pause right now on the quiz and let the people rest their fingers a bit. Over to you, Sarume.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that. So please rest your fingers. Please take a stretch. We have Goatee in the lead at the moment. We have Lady Mo coming closely behind, and then we have Joy. Who is going to take the prize? Who is going to take the prize? All right. So now I will be introducing somebody who's going to be having a conversation with our authors. Okay, you heard about the authors. We played the video and now we're going to conversations. But don't you move from where you're seated because the quiz will continue shortly. In the meantime, we will be hearing from some of our authors on the call. And to drive the conversation, I'd like to introduce Dr. Akelachi KJ. Akelachi KJ is an avid reader and professional compere with a PhD in environmental management. In her day job, Dr. KJ oversees partnership, donors, and communications at a conservation organization while exploring her mixed interests in literature and digital media. Akelachi KJ, such a pleasure to have you on the call today at this celebration of literature. Are you excited? I'm sure you're equally as excited as I am to be here.
I
How are
am
you?
very excited, Asarome.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, so I will be handing over to you now to have some conversations with our lovely authors, and then we will get back to the quiz. How did you find the quiz, Akelachi? Just before I allow you to carry on this
Intense. It
conversation.
was intense. It was
Indeed,
intense.
indeed, indeed. Let's see
Yeah.
who takes the win much later. But for now, over to you. Thank you very much.
All right. From 252 applications to a long list of 11 and now a short list of 3, we have our amazing books on the platform. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my beautiful people on this call, wherever you are joining us from. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome you to this special panel discussion with the brilliant minds, the brilliant writers behind the 3 shortlisted books for this year's Nigeria Prize for Literature, one of the continent's most prestigious literary prizes that we have. Now, this year's shortlist, you've heard a lot about it from the introductory videos to the speeches that have been made, they've spoken about them, but I'm just going to give maybe very short 2-sentence summaries of the books on the shortlist for this year. Mind you, this year's shortlist reflects the incredible diversity of Nigerian storytelling. Now, in no particular order, I'm pleased to present to you Sonia by Oyin Olubile. Now, this book is a spellbinding story that blends myth, prophecy, and feminist strength. Reimagining the fairy Yoruba god Sango as a woman, Sonia tells the epic story of a heroine bound by prophecy and torn between love, loyalty, and destiny. The second book is The Road to the Country by Chigozie Obioma. Now, this book is a story about the Nigerian Civil War, but from an interesting and unique perspective. This is about a protagonist who is caught between guilt of a childhood accident and the chaos of the Biafran War. Our protagonist, Kunle, embarks on a journey to find his lost brother. Guided by prophecy, shadowed by destiny, his journey asks whether we truly choose our own fate. And the third book, definitely not the list, we have This Motherless Land by Nikki May. Now, the summary of this book is after a tragic accident shatters the protagonist's childhood, which is Funke, she's torn between Nigeria and England, struggling with grief, identity, and belonging. This book has some grief in it, but it's also sharp with witty and humorous side to it. This novel explores family, race, and the universal search for home. Now, with a round applause, it's a virtual event. I cannot say a standing ovation, but please, I want to see us give these brilliant writers a round of applause. I want to see all the claps coming in. Yes, that's what I want to see. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, Nikki, give yourself a round of applause. All right, from information reaching me is we have just 2 of the writers here on the call. We have Nikki May and then we have Oyin Olubile. Right, so I'm just going to quickly jump into our questions. Our authors can, unmute themselves and join the conversation. Nikki, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Oyin, can you hear me? Oh, okay. So I have Nikki here with me. Okay. All right. Nikki is the author of This Motherless Land. If you have a copy of this book, I'd like to see a picture. Just wave your book like this. I'm looking at the videos now. Okay. All right, Nikki. My very first question to you would be, which of the characters was the hardest to write?
Gosh, writing is hard generally, but Funke, I think, was quite easy to write because Funke is like the perfect version of me. She's living my life. She's the me that my father wished I was. She's the good girl. She's the one that didn't drop out of university. She's the one that became a doctor. And she was easy to write in the sense that she's living my life. She lives in Louth in my house with my parrot Billy. She rides my chopper around the quiet campus streets. Her mother is very inspired by my mother, who taught at Corona School and was loved by all her students. But I had to dig really deep to write Funke. So although it was easy and she walked onto the page fully formed, it was a bit like therapy. It was very much digging into my own personal questions about belonging, about identity, and about home. So she was easy, but she was hard because all writing is hard.
Now, this is quite interesting because my next question to you was going to be, as an Anglo-Nigerian, how much of your personal experience did you bring into this novel? And I mean, you've already answered that question. You said all of it, literally all of it. So are you, let's look at some of the settings. So you vividly describe the home in England, which is the Ring. So was that really your home in England?
No, the Ring isn't my home, but the Ring is an imagined montage of homes I've been to, of my auntie's house, of houses I've walked past. So the Ring is imagined and embellished, but it is based on homes I've been to and my experience of being in England. The Lagos homes, on the other hand, they are just dragged straight from my real life. It's fiction, though, because I do things in the book that aren't real. I kill Funke's mother off really early. My mother is alive and well. It's her 86th birthday tomorrow. In fact, we're celebrating with her now in Tenerife. But I think when you're writing about very nuanced subjects like this, it helps if you're being brutally honest and if you're writing from lived experience. So I definitely brought a lot of my own lived experience to the book. In some ways, I found that writing is cheaper than therapy. You have to dig deep, you have to explore. And I find when I write, I actually learn. I find that at the end of a book, I feel I'm a slightly better person or a worse person, depending on what my protagonists do.
All right. And happy birthday in advance to your mother.
Thank you.
Glad to know she's still alive. She was not killed, unlike Funke's mother in the book. All right. Now, one of the things I found fascinating in your book is the way you highlight the differences between Nigeria and the UK. I mean, it's clear. The buildings, the lifestyle, and then the food, the culture, it's quite different. But something else that's quite interesting is how you blend the similarities. As different as we are, there are also similarities between both societies. For example, the adoration of the boy child. In Nigeria, we see Funke's father dotting on Femi, and in the UK, we see Margot dotting on Liv's brother Dominic, or even something as simple as nepotism, or would I say, in Nigeria, it's called long legs,
Long
but in
leg.
the UK, it's called looking out for your own, something you wouldn't expect to see. So, I mean, what do you think about the similarities, and how do you think it reveals about gender and privilege? How does it operate across class and different societies?
I'm so glad you spotted this because one of the things I set out when I write, I try not to preach, I try not to lecture, I try just to write an entertaining story. But I'm honestly joyful when you pick out those sorts of things because one of my messages is that melanin is not a character trait. Human beings are the same wherever they are. As you said, we have privilege and the old boys network in England. In Nigeria, we have long leg and who do you know? And that thing about the boy child, that thing about even we might not have racism, but we've got tribalism. I think as long as you have human beings, you will have isms. As long as you have human beings, you will have privilege and prejudice. I know that I've experienced both privilege and prejudice in both my homes. I feel I'm in a blessed position to actually be able to see what's wonderful about both my homes, but also see what is bad about both my homes. And whilst if anybody who is not Nigerian is rude about Nigeria, I get very angry. But as Nigerians, we are allowed to say what's wrong with our country. So I feel I'm uniquely placed to be able to see the joy, the wonder, but also the warts in both. And I tried to put that on the page.
Fantastic. I mean, lots of nuggets there. Melanin is not a character trait. And as long as you have humans, you will always have isms.
You will, unfortunately.
I like that. So one of the praises for your novel, for This Motherless Land, is that it's a fierce and evocative retelling of Mansfield Park. Now, I wanted to ask how much of the Jane Austen classic how did it influence your development of plot, character dynamics, especially between Funke and Liv and their families?
So I love Jane Austen. I find her books are really timeless. She's very good on human nature, and human nature hasn't changed in 250 years. Human beings are still the same. So I love her work. And I was rereading Mansfield Park for the 100th time, probably. And the idea of a young girl being snatched away from everything she knows and loves and thrown into this alien environment where she has to prove herself. Well, I thought it was genius. So I stole it. I literally stole that idea and put it into my book. But my book is not a retelling. It's a reimagination of Mansfield Park. I sort of used it as scaffolding to build my story around. So it sort of uses bits of it. One of the things that I found really interesting is Mansfield Park, the house, was built on the back of slave trade, but slaves are not really mentioned in the book, and there's certainly no Black people in the book. And I thought it would be quite interesting to take that concept and move it to Nigeria and make Black people front and central. And not only that, make Black people the best, because Funke is the best of them. She's the stone that the builder rejected, but she became the head cornerstone. So I felt it was quite nice to top it on its head, and use that. The other thing I love about Jane is she uses wit and humor to poke holes at prejudice and privilege, and I try to do that as well.
Fantastic, fantastic. I mean, I like when you say make Nigeria the best, because literally you did that in the first half, describing the Luth ambience, riding the bicycles in and around. It was so beautiful. The flowers planted in the compound. It was really beautiful to imagine that sort of Nigeria. Thank you so much for your book. And I've just been informed that we also, Oyin is back on the call. I don't know, can you hear me, Oyin? If you can confirm, you can hear me.
I can actually hear you. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you with us. I mean, for a minute there, I thought I was only going to have a conversation with Nikki, which is still interesting. But I mean, thank you that you're able to join us on this call. Sonia,
Thank you.
In fact, I might have to start calling you Sonia.
I'll take it.
You'll take it. Just before I get into a few questions with Oyin, I mean, we still have Nikki on the call. We just keep, interchanging between the both of them. Just before I get into the questions for Oyin, just to let you know, my audience, that you can ask questions. You can drop your questions in the chat box, in the Q&A chat box, and then I'll get to them in a minute when I'm done with my own questions. Yes. That's why I'm the moderator. When I'm done with my own questions, priority questions for the author. So drop your questions in the chat box and I'll get to them after my own questions. All right, Oyin. This is your debut novel.
Yes.
And it has already been shortlisted for the prestigious Nigeria Prize for Literature. This is no mean feat. I'm so proud, super proud. But how does this make you feel? How does this make you feel? What has the journey been like from going from idea to book and to prize recognition for a debut novel?
Yeah, I still feel like I'm in some kind of, how would I describe it? The time when if for those that have read Sonia, the time when Sonia disappeared into that loop and then reemerged, I feel like I'm inside the loop. And
Wow.
exactly, like I just feel like someone is gonna pinch me at some point, and I'll have to wake up and say,
Okay.
"Oh, this has this has been a
A
dream all
dream.
along." Right, but yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like, oh, this is really happening. I actually wrote a book that people love for the first time, and it's so much encouragement. I mean, it's when my children talk about it, my children are like, "Oh, my mom is an award-winning author," and I'm like, "Yes, I am." You know?
Indeed, you
Yeah.
are. You are.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah. Wow.
it's actually an amazing thing. I would also like to say thank
Mm.
you. Thank you to all the readers, everyone that has read Soyana. You know, they've all said very positive things about it. Thank you to the NLNG as well for recognizing the work, right? And it's
Mm.
yeah, so thank you. Thank you. Even thank you everyone for being here to want to talk to us.
Yeah.
It's something to really be grateful for.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
It is.
so I'm going to start with something you mentioned when Sonia went into that loop. So
Yes.
since you mentioned it, maybe I should start my questions from them.
Ah.
Now she's haunted by the mystery of those lost years, right?
Yes.
She doesn't really understand it. A period that even the Orishas are unable to tell what really happened to her. Readers are also blind to that moment. But I mean, it was being close to being revealed towards the end when she sort of recognized the dark force issue.
Yes.
But
Issue.
unfortunately, she was not able to. I don't want no spoilers, but you should get the book to read it. But she was not
Yes.
able to. How did you want readers to engage with this unanswered question? Should it be seen as a part of the novel's deeper mystery, or should we expect a sequel?
Um, so yes, a sequel definitely is happening, is in the works. It's 90% done. Yes.
You heard it first here. A sequel is in the works.
Yes. And yes, so the loop is part of the deeper mystery. In fact, that's the entire mystery to Sonia, to the book. Because, you know, I was speaking to I was in an interview a few days ago, and someone said something about if I was going to imagine Sonia, the character, as in a movie, that which actor would I, imagine as? And I said that Sonia is the only character I never imagined, that I've never imagined, which is strange because all through the process of writing, for every character that was introduced or created, I imagined a real life person to that
Okay.
character, even if the person isn't an actor. Do you understand? I imagined like a real life, a face to the character. But Sonia it's just a face that has eluded me for all this while. Do you understand? And when I was thinking about it, it made me understand that Sonia herself rather is more of an idea rather than an individual or a character, right? And the idea is what eventually birthed what the book eventually became. Do you understand? So that loop that Sonia had to go into, it's like every rebirthing of any human or anybody, for example, and then you have to go into something. You have to find yourself, whether it's internal, external, anywhere. People travel. Most people take up a hobby. Most people do something, but people have to reemerge from something to become something or someone. Do you understand? So we having to
Yes.
say or come up to say that, oh, this is where she went to XYZ, grew up there and then came out again. It's like I would definitely be demystifying the reemergence
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
what Sonia eventually became, or who or what she eventually became. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yes, I totally
Yes.
understand that. I
Yes.
mean, we just see this little girl and then suddenly we see this warrior.
Yes.
Interesting. I love to see that. I mean, I'm sure Nikki is still here on the call. So let me just throw one question to Nikki and then
Right.
I'll come back to you. So Nikki, are you here?
I'm here.
All right, fine. I want to talk about your title, the Motherless Land. The title of the book.
Oh no, you're frozen. Can you hear me? you've frozen. The screen is frozen on me. Can you hear me, Oyen?
Hi, Nikki. I
Yes,
think
Nikki, I can
we have...
actually hear you.
Hi, Nikki. We can hear you clearly, and
Should I just
Owen can
answer the
hear you.
question? Because I think I know where that was going.
Yes, please.
Yes.
And then would allow her return. I think her connection just froze. But please go
So,
ahead.
so
The answer.
this Motherless Land wasn't the original title of the book. The original title was Brown Girl in the Ring, and I actually called the house in England the Ring intentionally so I could get Boney M in there and I could get them dancing to that song. But characters have the habit of not doing what you want them to do. They have this habit of doing their own thing and not listening to my carefully constructed plot. And when I got to the end of my first draft, I realized that I was writing a slightly different book from the book I thought I was writing. I also realized that Funke's mum, who I kill off really early, this is not a spoiler, it happens in chapter 1, she refused to leave the page. Her ghost permeates throughout the story, and it became a quest for these two women to find their mothers. It was almost like I was asking the question, what is worse, a wonderful mother who's dead or a terrible mother who's alive? And I think the former. I think Funke got the long straw when it came to motherhood. It was also, to me, I think I learned a lot writing this. I think I learned a lot about legacy. And I realized that one of the most important legacies a human being can leave is not necessarily in a bank vault or in bricks and mortar. It's in touching other people. And Mrs. Lizzie, Funke's mother, she lives on, and Funke keeps seeing her in other people, in the little random acts of kindness that she did to other people, whether it was a waiter in Ikoi Club or a cleaner in the school or just a student that she helped cope with a stammer. And I think that's why the title, when we finally arrived on that title, This Motherless Land, although I was very sold on Brown Girl in the Ring and I still keep the song in the book, it became a better title that encompassed everything I was trying to do in the book.
Thank you so much, Nikki May, for that response. Really, really good to hear that. I'm going to be handing over to Jude. Okay, Akelachi is back. Akelachi, can you hear us clearly?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's breaking a bit, but let's see how it goes. Please go ahead.
Yes. Nikki
I don't know if
understands
you
the
caught
Nigerian
Nikki's answer.
situation.
She was able to answer the question.
Always.
Yes. All right. Nikki, thank you for that answer. I mean, I heard it in between Spotty Network, but I'm glad I'm back. Yes. Now, one more question for Oyin, just before we start taking questions from the audience. I'm sure they're itching to get their questions answered by our shortlisted brilliant writers. One more question for Oyin. Oyin, your book is You Said So. I saw this on the book. The making of your book, Sonia, the protagonist, which is Sonia, is a reimagining of the Yoruba legend, the god Shango. That is bold. That is quite bold. Reimagining Shango as a
The
female.
audacity.
The audacity. What informed this choice, and what kind of reactions have you had from readers to this reimagining, especially from those who are quite aware about Yoruba mythology?
Yes. Yeah, the audacity, yes. So to answer that, I'm going to say something because you asked Nikki about the title of her book, and then when she was talking, I remember that the former title I had in mind for Soya was actually When the Gods Come to Play.
When the
Right?
gods
So
come to play.
come to
Oh,
play. Yes, that was the initial title. You
okay.
understand? And so that was going to be the title, When the Gods Come to Play. Then when I was developing the character, or rather I'll say the storyline, like how is it going to start? I'd written, the very first thing I wrote was the birth of Sonia, and Dada had already been born, right? And
Yes.
so writing that, I was saying to myself that if at the end of the day, Sonia is going to be betrayed, or Shango is going to be betrayed by his brother, then let the brother be seen from the beginning as a really nice guy, as you know, someone who is taking care of him and all of that and all of that. So that was what birthed the fact, the part in the story where Dada had to name Sonia, right?
Okay.
But
Okay.
then why did I turn a male god into a young girl? And not just a female, but a young girl. And it's something that I feel like I should say from maybe my own personality. I'm quite rebellious, quite rebellious. I know that in my undergrad years, I studied creative arts, theater arts, by the way, at University of Lagos. And
Okay.
whilst we were studying all of these things in school, something that I did quite often was that whenever it was time for exams, I would rather give my opinion about the subject, the topic, the subject, rather than giving back what the lecturer has taught us. So it actually got me in trouble quite a number of times because in my head, some things just did not add up. I didn't,
I can imagine.
I was like, why does this person, why do we have to study this in, and it actually didn't help that we were studying about these gods and these individuals or characters through plays and theater productions and stuff. We hadn't seen like a full-length story on these individuals. Like, make it interesting. Let us go with the flow, you know what I mean? Let us
Yes.
have a what if. Let us have an imagination of, and you see, that's the thing about readers, right? When
Yes.
you
Yes.
start reading from young, your mind forms it has a shape of its own. It can form its
Yes.
own thing. So when you read like a Jane Austen, like Nikki was talking about, you begin to have imaginations of what if this happened in China? What if this
Yes.
happened in India? You know what I mean? So it's because of my rebellious mind that eventually I said, you know what, I'm going to tell this story the way I think it makes sense to me, right? And the way it makes sense to me is that if I need to retell the story in such a way that someone else is going to want to read it or understand it, right? Most especially people of the diaspora, they would want to read it. They will be
Yes.
interested.
Yes.
Do you
Yes.
understand? Because no one wants to see. It's not like no one wants to see. We saw it when we were younger, and
Yes.
then,
Yes.
but the truth is that the fascination wasn't that great because they're like, oh, it's Shango, is Ogun, is Oya, and all of that. But then, what is their story?
Yes.
How did they come to be?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So
Yes.
so
I
so
get
so
that.
when I started to do my research, and most of the characters and all the things that made up the identity for Shango, for me, didn't add up. I said, I'm going to tell this story the way it makes sense. At first, I was going to write an academic paper about it. But then I was like, well, what's the joy in that? It's just going to be I decided to just do that. I don't know if that answers it. Yeah. Is she there?
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
here. I can hear you. I don't know if you can
Right.
see me. Yes.
Yeah.
Just a whole lot going on. But thank you for. But one part that maybe you didn't really answer. Has there been any negative criticism to the reimagining?
Sadly, no.
Why sadly?
because you see, the idea for me was that I was going to use the book to have a global conversation on African storytelling. So I was expecting a lot of pushbacks. I was expecting a lot of people to say, this girl is delusional. This girl is just crazy. Right. But
Okay.
all the things I've been getting, oh, this is a wonderful story, which is also great. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. Keep them coming. I love it. I love all of the affirmations and all of the good things that I'm getting. But
Yeah.
then you know, I would have loved to hear someone say, this never happened, or this is a wrong portrayal of jungle,
history or
of
mythology.
history, right? And because you see, the thing is, if you've been in academia for too long or for so long, you expect a lot of criticisms from your professors and all of that. So I think maybe that was my headspace, and that was what I was expecting, that someone was going to do a viva for me
for you.
and then say, oh, listen, this is just wrong, this is rubbish, F9, come back to write this exam again next year.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Thank you so much. And I think now this is a proud or great moment for students of the University of Lagos. I've been seeing in the chat, oh, I'm also Unilag. Nikki says you also went to Unilag, Nikki, as well?
Oh,
yeah, I did.
Proud moment. Proud
it.
Unilag moment right there. I'm a bit jealous, actually. Proud moment. All right, so let me just take a look at the questions and answer the questions in the chat box and see if I have anyone. Okay, so this question is from Dave Mwajuba, and he says it's for Nikki. It will be interesting to know from Nikki if she experienced firsthand or through the story of others the superstition that Funke experienced and how that affects children and other vulnerable members of societies. Did you get that question, Nikki?
I did. I did. And yes, I mean, I grew up in Lagos. I lived in Lagos from when I was 6 months old to when I was 20. So I've had my fair share of superstition. I remember my grandmother putting charms in the house, which my mother freaked my mother out and scared her. But I also have this vivid memory, which I used when I was writing the book. A friend of ours died, unfortunately, very, very young. And his parents were not allowed to go to his funeral. And I remember finding this horrific and insensitive and I could not comprehend it. But it's custom. It's a Yoruba custom that parents should not bury their children because losing a child is such a terrible thing. I think, in fact, if you go with the actual custom, they're not supposed to know where the child is buried, which sounds brutal, but in some ways I understand it because it's almost losing a child is such a terrible thing that let's pretend it didn't happen. But for Funke, I mean, she's 9 years old when this happens. Everything is incomprehensive to her. Don't forget, I'm Nigerian, so I like drama in my drama. I've watched my fair share of Nollywood movies. I like action. So obviously in fiction, I like to amp things up and I like to do things for dramatic effect because I write to entertain. I want people to turn the pages. I want them to gasp. I want them to cry. I want them to feel all the feelings. But yes, I have seen, I mean, customs they're there and all these myths. I mean, they're in every single culture has these things. But I think Nigerian myths, just like Nigerian gist is sweet, Nigerian myth is also sweet, which is another reason why I loved Sonia. So all myths are great. They're just so juicy and readable.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much. I hope Dave, Nikki has answered your question. So I think the second question is from Daisy, and this one is for Oyin. She says, congratulations, Sonia is your first published novel that has debuted as a prize-winning novel. Amazing. Could you share the most difficult part of your writing process for this book? Over to you, Oyin.
Thank you, Adeze. Thank you so much. Thank you. The most difficult part of my writing process is being a mom. It's not even the writing itself. It's the fact that I'm a mother. I'm a mother of young children, and I've got 5 of them. and I live in London.
Wow. That is a whole lot.
The difficult part is not in conceptualizing the story. The difficult part is managing myself and putting pen to paper. And you see, one of the things I say to people, and I'm glad to say it here as well. I actually pride myself more as a storyteller than a writer or an author, right? Because you see, the thing with storytelling is that it preserves itself in whatever shape or form. So whatever story that I tell my children or friends or family through oral storytelling, they remember it,
Okay.
right? But the beauty of it is being able to put it into paper and then just drop it for the world to enjoy.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So and so the difficult part is not in conceptualizing the story or being in the field or thinking about your characters or even killing your characters or being as dramatic or putting the drama in the drama like Nikki. But the difficult part is actually sitting down and saying in the beginning or saying how Sonia went into battle and started beating up people. You have to imagine it. Sometimes I have to even watch my children play. Sometimes I have to go to or watch African Magic Yoruba sometimes.
Wow.
Yes, yes, yes. And then, watch things and understand, and sometimes even read. Not even sometimes, you have to read other people's stories as well, and the way they put the words together and things like that. One of the words that I've stayed with me over 20 something years, because the last time I read this book was when I was going to do my O levels in Nigeria. And I think it was A Concubine by Elechi Amadi. And the last words in The Concubine is, the spirit of death was known to take away people's lives shortly after midnight. That was when Ekwemi died. Trust me, I read this book when I was 15. That was the last time I read it, but I remember those words and I remember them now. Do you understand? So I think Dr. Akalachi she's off again. Okay, she's back.
I'm back. My
She's
apologies.
back.
Huge apologies.
No, it's all right. It's all right. So
Yeah.
it's and you see, I'm quite certain that Elechi Amadi would have been so intentional to end that book with those lines, because as a young person reading that then, and I'm older now, I'm not even sure I've seen The Concubine, that book, in like how many years, but I still remember the words. I remember the story. I remember everything. And if you sit Kelechi Amadi down and you say, what inspired you writing? If I forget the entire story,
Yes.
how did you write the end like this in such a way that it has stayed with me for years? I'm sure there will be no answer to that. There will be no answer to that. So the difficult part of it is putting the words together, right? Telling the story is different, but putting the words together for people to be able to read and the words stay with them, that's difficult. That is really difficult. And it can take, my process can be quite long. It took me about 3-4 years for me to write.
Wow.
Sonia. Yes, it's taken me another 2-3 years to write the sequel.
Okay.
Do you understand? And then typically, if I was doing a PhD, I think I would have had like multiple PhDs by
PhDs
then.
at this point. I know. I know.
You understand? Because storytelling is way different. You have to go back, kill some characters, polish some characters, do a lot of things with these characters, with your words even. And then sometimes you even read your book from start to finish and you'll be like, no, this doesn't make any sense. I don't think anybody will want to read this, So yeah, putting the words together is difficult. Well, alongside being a mom as well. Is she back?
I believe she may have been thrown out. So I would quickly just hand over to Jude, who's a colleague as well, maybe to ask final questions, maybe one final question as we wrap up this segment. Jude, are you able to just give us one final round of questions for our incredible authors today? Okay.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
All right.
Hi, Osama. Hi, Nikki.
Jude.
Hi, Omi. Hello.
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 Hi, Jude.
Hello.
Yes. Okay. Hello, Vicky. Can you hear me? Can
I
everybody hear
can.
me?
Hi, Jude. I can hear you.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, we
can.
definitely can hear you.
Or we could.
Okay, okay, no, I'm back. I'm back up. All right. So I've been listening intently and keenly. I have all three books, uh, and we really need to be honest. I have had the pleasure of late night, rummaging through all of them. Thank you, Nikki. You answered a few of my questions. I'm going to ask you both one question each. All right. And it has to do with the content of your books, these novels that we're reading. Would either of you be willing or ecstatic to be part of a movie based off of these novels?
Should I go first?
But please.
So yes, yes, and yes. When I write, I'm a real visual writer. So when I'm writing, I actually have pictures of what I think my characters look like on the screen in front of me. And I write, I have to actually be able to visualize my scenes, my sets, my places. I try to ground my books very much in a sense of place and a sense of person. So yes, and I'm actually working with a script writer now on This Motherless Land, turning it into a TV series, which is just wonderful.
Oh,
And my
you have
first
let
book,
the cat out of the bag. I was
I
hoping. I
have,
was
I
hoping you were going to
have.
say so.
I think, and I'm looking forward. I hope it's always difficult with TV. My first book, Wahala, has been greenlit, so that's going to be on the BBC next year. But this second book is because it's such a personal
Amazing.
book. I'm more involved in the script. I'm not writing it because writing a book is hard. Writing a script is way above my pay grade. But I'm in the room. I'm a consultant, and I'm just loving the process. And fingers crossed, we shall see Funke and Liv on screen in the future.
Oh, okay, fantastic. Oh, what about you? Any thoughts about
Yes, yes.
Hollywood, Nollywood?
Um, yes, definitely yes. I'm quite visual as well. I would even say I'm quite animated, right?
Ooh,
Because I grew up with comic books, Marvel, and the rest of that.
you
So
and me both. Who's your favorite
yes.
character? Please say Spider-Man.
It's Captain America. I have a Captain
Ah,
America shield in my house, like
wh-
the like proper Captain America. Yes,
yeah.
because because Captain America has a story. Do you understand? And there's stories like that that I just like to follow, right? So yes, definitely Sonya. I would like to see Sonya on the big screen because
Mm.
when I was creating the characters, like I said, I have real life people. I trust me, Bonner Boy was on my mind as a villain when I was writing. Yes, when I was writing Okoye, it was Bonner Boy that was on my mind. I was like, I'd like to see Bonner Boy actors play this role, right? So it's it's definitely sorry. There's a child needing mommy.
Oh, there's one of the minions, five of them.
Five.
Wow.
Yeah, five of them. So definitely, I would really like to see Sonya on the big screen for a
All right.
global audience. Definitely. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. It's been an
Thank
amazing
you.
time. I really, really wish we had enough time, or more time rather, to talk to all of you. A big appreciation has to be said to all the audience who have sent in their questions. But we need to, as well, stick to our schedules. But I'd like to say one thing before I pass the mic over to the MC for this event. That's talking about Siren. You see, just like you, growing up with Marvel characters, I have several times gone towards spiders in the hope that I was going to be bitten, and I had Superman powers. Yeah, up until 5 years ago, up until 2020 during COVID, I didn't give up on that dream. So it's good. It's good to know that we live in the world that we create in our hearts and in our minds and in the books. So you, Oyi, thank you so much. I enjoyed reading your book. Nikki May, you are the one person I wanted to get to hear, and you've been very, very much to my expectations, even more so. Thank you very much for your time
Thank
this
you.
evening. All right, so back to you.
Thank you, Jude. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, can you put your hands together in the comments? Use your emojis for our wonderful authors today. Oyin has been such a graceful interviewee. Nikki has been incredible. And of course, Akelachi and Jude have been fantastic. So please, let's see the applaud go on for these wonderful Africans who are telling stories from Africa across the world. All right. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate. I did say that at the beginning of the call, we were going to give prizes to the early 50 attendees. We like to come early. We like to be on time. So there's prizes to the first 50 attendees. And I now have information for some of the names, and I will be announcing them very quickly. So please, please stay behind. Don't miss this opportunity now. We'll wrap up the quiz, and we're going to hear closing remarks from one member of the executive leadership at NLNG. So hang on, we're not just done yet. Okay, so if you hear your name, please drop your phone number in the comments so that the team can get in touch with you. Very important. If you hear your name, please drop your contact in the comments. Okay, so I'm going to do this very, very quickly. Alberta Irimaga. Please forgive me if I don't pronounce it properly. Alberta Irimaga. Please drop your number in the comments. Abdul Ahmed. Abdul Ahmed. Drop your contact in the comment. Shoyebo. 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 Please drop your contact. Adejumo Adekunle. Adejumo Adekunle. Chido Nwakama. Chido Nwakama. Elder Oku. Elder Oku. Evidence Ajaho. Evidence Ajaho. Jeff. Precious Oku. Precious Oku. Prudent George. Prudent George. Thelma Irimaga. Thelma Irimaga. Tina Dada. Barry. Chisom Oswagu. Arbitin Awoju. Deborah Ken Maduako. God's Power Olungwe. Ibiere Ken Maduako. Temitayo Ogundoju. And Faustina Ekene. So if you heard your name, please drop your contact in the comments. Very, very important. All right. Thank you very much for that. I'm tempted to go into the quiz now, but I know we announced 20 names, but we will also be sharing the other names as well, because we did say 50 names. So please drop your contact if you heard me call your name out. Once again, I want to appreciate our authors for joining, and our interviewers, Jude and Akelachi. I'm going to be inviting a special guest who is part of the executive leadership of NLNG to give us some remarks as we begin to wind down this book fest. Have you enjoyed the book fest? I know some people are saying, well, I want to know the winner. I want to know the winner of the Nigeria Prize for Literature. Well, like you heard earlier, you would have to sit tight and look out and continue to watch out for the announcements that will be coming soon. Okay, very, very, very important. So I would like to introduce the manager for corporate communications at NLNG, Anne-Marie Palmer Ikuku, to give some closing remarks. It's been quite an interesting, such a wonderful event. I've seen all the exciting comments, and I'm now handing over to Anne-Marie, I beg your pardon, Anne-Marie, to give closing remarks. You're welcome, Anne-Marie. Thank you for joining and staying through on this very interesting conversation.
Thank you very much, Osarome, and good evening, everyone. I hope you have all enjoyed the past hour and a half as much as I have. We've had, it's been very interesting soaking in the spark of Nigerian creativity. And honestly, I enjoyed every bit of it. I was shocked when Osarome said it was time to, start rounding off. The works just remind me of something timeless. Stories. Stories matter. Stories. They connect us, they challenge us, they make us laugh, they make us think, and above all, they remind us of the humanity which we all share. But as we celebrate, let's be real, there's still a lot of work to do. Nigerian voices deserve a bigger spotlight on the global stage. I'm happy to hear what our shortlist are doing, Nikki and Owen, and of course Chigozie, who is not here. And people sometimes ask us, why is an energy company like NLNG so interested in literature? Why are you invested in literature? And my answer is simple. We always say that because stories are energy too, literature fuels our imaginations and it helps us to understand ourselves and shapes how the world sees us. So that's why the Nigeria Prize for Literature matters. Yes, it comes with a $100,000 award, one of the biggest on the continent, but the prize is so much more than the money. It's about creating a stage where Nigerian writers are heard, where their ideas travel across borders, and where Nigerian literature stands tall among the best in the world. And today we've seen that magic in action. Readers, all of us engaging directly with the shortlisted authors, asking about the characters, etc. So from my heart, a big thank you to everyone who made this possible, from Washington, from Canada, from Port Harcourt, from Lagos, from Bonny Island, from Gombe. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much to Rainbow Book Club, our wonderful partners, the entire literary community, and the budding talents, every one of you who have logged in and made this virtual book fest come alive. Thank you so much for standing with the Nigeria Prize for Literature. Your support is a huge vote of confidence in us at NLNG. It's a huge vote of confidence in what we do for literature. Here at NLNG, we are not just about producing energy, we're about enriching lives, nurturing our culture, and also inspiring a sustainable future. And together we can make sure that Nigeria's voices don't just echo within our borders, but rings out loudly and proudly across the globe for generations to come. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and let's keep telling our stories. Thank you very much. As I hand the mic back to Osarome, our wonderful host this evening.
Thank you. You are so kind, Anne-Marie. Really appreciate the compliment. And thank you for the closing remarks. And ladies and gentlemen, this is that time where we're winding down. I want to also announce that the winner will be announced at the Grand Award Night in Lagos on Friday, October 10th. So watch out. You'll be hearing the winner announced. Nikki, I wish you all the best. I wish you, Oyin, I wish you the best, and Chigozie in absentia, I wish you the best. And like we had the Dr. Sophia say at the beginning, everyone is a winner, but $100,000. Oh my! I wish you the best. So the quiz winners, the top 3 from the quiz, because we have to wrap up now. We won't be going into the rest of the quiz, but Go T, I saw you leading. You were sustainable in your lead. Congratulations, Go T. Please drop your contacts in the comments if you're still on the call. Lady Mo came in closely in second place. If you're still on the call, Lady Mo, please drop your details in the comments. And then we had Joy Chime in third place. Please drop your details in the comments. Drop your details in the comments. Go T, Lady Mo, Joy, Chime. I'd like to thank everyone. My name as your MC today, Osaume Akenzwa. It's been such a pleasure driving this RBC NPL BookFest 2024. Congratulations to NLNG. Congratulations to Rainbow Book Club. And congratulations to Africa Literature and to our audience who joined from across the world today, stayed with us for the last 93 minutes plus. I want to say thank you, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your evening and have a wonderful week ahead. Thank you very much, and God bless. Bye-bye now. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you. And congratulations to all the winners.
From initial concepts in the 1960s to the establishment of NLNG in 1989, our journey has been marked by perseverance and innovation. NLNG export began on October the 9th, 1999, marking our entry into global energy markets. Today, NLNG boasts of a 6-train plant with a capacity of 22 million metric tons per annum MTPA of LNG and 5 metric tons per annum of NGLs. Our LPG supply initiative supports domestic growth and ensures energy accessibility. With our 7th train expansion, set to boost capacity by 35% to 30 million tonnes per annum, NLNG is poised to enhance its global footprint and drive future growth. NLNG, inspiring a sustainable future.
The Rainbow Book Club and Nigeria LNG